Hello, everybody. Good afternoon from Shanghai. Let me know if you can see my screen sharing. Looking okay? And yeah, let me know in the chat where you're watching this session from as well. So welcome back to the Macmillan Education seasonal webinar. And this is the very first event we're holding in 2024. So I'm really, really glad to see you. Wow, from Cambodia, from Indonesia, Vietnam, Bangkok, and also a lot of colleges. Yeah, a lot of college teachers hanging out there. Yes, great. Great to see you again. And welcome to the very first seasonal webinar by Macmillan Education Asia. And I am Super, your old friend. Hopefully, yeah, you have been with us for our webinar events like before. And also welcome for the first time attendees. Yeah. And I warmly welcome you all from Shanghai. And this is the Cultivating Curiosity, Innovate approaches to English language teaching and professional development seasonal webinar. And before we get started, I'm just going to give you some great news about your professional development in 2024 with us. So we have prepared a very comprehensive program for you. In 2024, throughout the year, we're going to have a series of events and the trainings and also chat shows, and including some new very special sessions as well. As you can see, we will have the seasonal webinars like today. We will still have the very popular ELT time and ELT time plus chat shows. Yeah, but we will have two more new sessions. The first one is the lesson plan masterclass. So in this special session, we're going to plan lessons together with you and go through a lesson plan from the very first minute of the lesson to the end of the lesson to show you how to plan a lesson effectively and how to make use of different content and different maybe digital materials and the tools to make your lesson interesting, engaging, at the same time very effective for English language learning. And apart from the lesson plan sessions, masterclasses, we will also have the ELT Unplugged, the debate series, which we're going to invite different speakers, different guests, and also trainers from Macmillan Education to do debates based on hot topics, of course, around the English language teaching and the latest trends of English language teaching in this industry. So stay tuned. We will release the news about all these events gradually on our Facebook page, and also if you're in China, you can check out our events on WeChat. So please don't forget to follow us on Facebook or WeChat. We will let you know the upcoming events for the whole 2024. And please don't forget to get registered with different types of events and sessions. You are definitely going to take a lot of things away from these sessions. Okay, so here are the two QR codes for you to scan and follow us. And also, if you have any questions, you can contact us through these two emails as well. Great. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce this webinar, this seasonal webinar, the very first event in 2024. So today we're going to have the first session with Blue, yeah, the most handsome trainer ever in Macmillan Education. So yeah, so he's going to talk about authentic language materials in this session. And welcome. And next week, we will have two more sessions. I will be taking care of the second session, which is functional language strategies. I will introduce you how to teach English in a functional approach and how to introduce the functional language strategies in your English language classroom. So if you haven't registered, please don't forget to scan this QR code or check out our Facebook or WeChat page to get registered. And the last session will be the lesson plan masterclasses, which is the brand new session we are going to launch this time. So Dell will be in charge of the lesson plan masterclass, and he will go through a vocabulary lesson with you to breathe life into the vocabulary teaching, giving you a lot of ideas about teaching vocabulary and also plan a vocabulary lesson with you together. So don't forget to check this out and get registered as well. Okay, so let's welcome Blue to the stage because he's going to be the main speaker for this session. Yeah. So hi, Blue.
Hey, super. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Good afternoon, everybody, or good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to our first webinar of this new year. Thank you for sticking with us. I'm going to talk you through the topic. Let me just share my screen with you.
Yeah.
So bear with me.
Yeah, so before I give the stage back to you, I just want to remind everybody, if you have any questions for Blue's session, you can ask the questions in the Q&A button, and I will come back with the questions at the end. So yeah, please, Blue.
Thank you very much. Okay, hopefully everybody can see my screen. It should look very white right now. And I'm sure that sound is familiar to a number of you. Maybe not now, but probably in your past lives when you were young. Welcome to Mr. Blue's classroom. Now, before we begin today's lesson, let me show you some images. And in the chat, I would like you to tell me what you think today's lesson is. So here's a few pictures for you. Okay, there's that. And there's this. And also, what's that there? So get typing in the chat. What do you think today's lesson with Mr. Blue is all about? David, thank you very much. We've got one answer. Kevin, thank you, sir. Space, adrology, science, space. You've got it. Welcome to Mr. Blue's lesson. Today, we are learning from Share It, book number 5. And of course, the lesson is astrology. It's space. It's everything up there. Okay. Now, what I did there is I used some authentic images to sort of create intrigue, excitement, and interest in today's lesson. And that brings me to today's topic that we're going to be looking at in the session. And that, of course, is igniting student curiosity through using authentic language materials, such as what I just did there, using pictures. So that leads me to the first point, and I need your help, everybody. We're looking at authentic language materials. What I would like you to do in the chat is tell me what are some examples of some authentic language materials. So go ahead, use those fingers, get typing, and give me some examples of some authentic language materials, please. Thank you, Rosanita. I apologize if I mispronounce anyone's name. News articles, interviews, advertisements. Brilliant. Interviews, says Princess. Princess Jewel, lovely. Role plays, David James Boardman. Thank you, David. Role plays, anything else, guys? Brochures, that's a good one now. Yeah, brochures, anything like that. Let's have a couple more before I reveal my answers. Thank you, Creel. Thank you, James. Photographs, labels, surveys, visuals. Hello, Mr. Hun. I hope you're well in Cambodia. Guys, you've got it. Authentic language and materials. Anything outside of the book's content, everyday objects, everything we can reach, everything we can access in the real world, such as, for example, newspaper magazine articles, books maybe, songs, movies and TV shows, of course, anything like radio or podcasts, menus or recipes, although I saw brochures as well. So anything like that. What else have we got? Public or road signs as well, advertisements. Now, of course, my list is not exhaustive. There are a number of different things. We could list hundreds, but anything that's real, not meant for ESL or second language learning, but more so just using the real world. And that's what we're looking at today, how we can use these resources in a way that will maximize a student's learning in the classroom when it comes to studying English. So Next question, I guess, is why? Why use authentic language materials? What's the benefits? I'm going to list a few for you now. Again, feel free to join me in the chat if you have any to add. But I would like to say, of course, you're expanding their vocabulary, all these different materials, the opportunity to expand that vocabulary. Real world content is real world context. Okay, so immediately students can get an understanding due to the context it's being placed in, or their experience of what they know as the context, because they live in the world where these materials come from. I put there enhanced language skills. That's really important because you're dealing with authentic material. You're not dealing with material that has been graded according to the book, the level of your students. It's real material with its real language. So it won't be graded, but in a way that can almost enhance their language skills because it opens up many opportunities for expansion. Of course, variety there as well. And hopefully it will supplement the course book material that you're teaching. Because of course, in your course books, everything has context. So within that context and gradable language delivery, hopefully there's some authentic material that you can glue with it and expand your lesson. Okay, so that's the why. And before I begin, let's talk about some considerations as a teacher, as an educator, that you should always be aware of. And let me begin by saying relevancy. Of course, you're going to have to bring materials in that are relevant to the student's level and to the lesson itself. Okay, that goes without saying. Contextual clues versus vocabulary. Now, again, it's authentic material, so the vocabulary might be higher level, but are there any context clues that will help the students to guess what words mean? For example, pictures or any kind of visual. Okay. Next one, of course, enhancing students' motivation, enjoyment. Do these materials allow your students to maintain motivation or even increase their motivation? What's your reason for bringing in authentic materials? Overexposure, and this one again is key. I do see this a lot where often you give them too much real authentic language materials and not enough stuff that's gradable from the language books themselves. So be careful that you don't overexpose your students to too many things. And lastly, extension of knowledge. Does it benefit the students, or do the students have that knowledge already? Okay, and that's something we're going to take a look at later. Extension of a student's knowledge, but do they have that knowledge to begin with, that general foundation of contextual understanding of the material that you're presenting to them? Now let's get to the fun stuff. Let's go through some examples of different ways that you can incorporate a number of different items, objects, materials into your classroom on an everyday basis. And I guess the obvious first one is realia. Actually getting an object, I don't know if you can see that, my water bottle, and you bring it into the classroom. Now, what you can see here is a video of a game that I played with some of my colleagues here in the Ho Chi Minh City office. And I love this game. Students put their hands into the box. I hope you like the box that I made. It took me ages. And they have to guess what the item is. Now, what I really enjoyed about this is when I was a teacher, I would play this game. And of course, what do the students want to do? They want to not only play the game, but next week they want to bring in an item, an object as well to put into the box and get students guessing what's inside. So realia is the obvious one, using real life objects to illustrate any point in your classroom. You can have fun with it, whatever's accessible, but also your students can get involved and bring items from home as well. Using sounds is another thing. Okay, you saw at the beginning, I used that sound effect of the school bell to hopefully make you guys realize, okay, we're in a situation here. What is the situation? I recognize that sound from when I was younger. So all of these things. And Jezree's just put there, works perfectly, especially for early years. It really does. It's hands-on, it's physical. There's a bit of TPR there as well, some total physical response. And it gets everybody involved in the classroom. They all want to bring an item in. But back to sounds. And what I love about sounds is, again, it ignites that curiosity in a student. There's a number of benefits. Let me list a few here. Again, it's a great way to make your students active listeners, okay, not just passive. Secondly, those situations can easily be linked to the content in your course books, as I will show you in just a moment. And lastly, cultural context, okay? Now be careful, everybody. Are the sounds relevant or relatable to your students' everyday experiences? So again, you're going to make sure that those sounds are familiar to them. So a word of caution there. So let's have a practice. I'm going to introduce a number of different lessons to you with a sound. In the chat, tell me what you think today's lesson is all about. Here's the first one. I hope you can hear that okay. Write in the chat what you think you heard. Playground, kids in the class, break time, some lovely guesses there, guys, and seeing some Vietnamese names as well. So xin chào. And of course, today's lesson, we are looking at in the classroom, of course. Recess, I love that lunchroom, David, thank you. But you've got it. So here's the next one, nice and easy for you. Farm, says Guy. Drexel farm. Kids in the farm. It could be kids in the classroom, couldn't it? But you've got it. It's animals on the farm. So all those sound effects, farm animals. Get your students to guess what animal it could be before you introduce the lesson. Let's do one more. Yuting, thank you. Twin, airport. Okay, we've got a few airports there. Station, announcement. Now the lesson is about the town, around town, but that was specifically a train station. Now, again, this is where encouragement is key because there's no wrong answers here. You're just getting your students to predict, to guess, to sort of underline that understanding of what they're about to see contextually. So all those are really nice guesses based on the context that they heard. It could be an airport. It could be a train station. It could be a bus station. So you're basically checking a few boxes and saying, okay, my students understand the context of that audio, even if that answer wasn't quite correct. So sounds really nice, great way to use some authentic language materials. And let me point you in the direction of some free sounds. Everybody loves anything that's free. Pixabay. You might use Pixabay for images, I don't know, but it's also really useful for free audio sound effects. So have a Google, check out Pixabay. I don't get any royalty, any commission here, but it's a really useful website that I use to source my sound effects whenever I need some. So check it out. Now, going from sounds, let's get lyrical. Let's talk about music, okay? And a great way that I used to like using music in my classroom was not as a gap fill, listen and gap fill activity, but almost one step before. What I would do with authentic music, okay, is I would do some listening prediction. So I would give the students the lyrics with missing words. What will the students do? Of course, before they listen, okay, they would fill in what they think their guesses are, what their predictions are, okay, based on two big factors. The context of the lyrics, okay, the situation, but also the grammar. What could fit in each missing space? So missing lyrics are a great way to get your students guessing what word it could be before you actually listen, okay? A nice, fun prediction activity. So let's try that now, guys. I'm going to give you some song lyrics and I'll talk through it. And in the chat, just have a guess what you think each missing word could be before I press the play button, okay? So remembering your touch, remembering your touch, your something embrace. I'll find my way back to something. So we've got some guesses here. Remembering your touch, your hug, your kiss, your something embrace. Now, grammatically, what is that word before embrace? What do you want your students to sort of identify? Yeah, Joji's got it there. It's going to be an adjective, isn't it, before the noun embrace. So even if their adjective is incorrect, it doesn't matter. Contextually, they've understood. Grammatically, they've understood. Okay, thank you, Charles. Thank you, Nell. Thank you, everyone. Sari, thank you very much. So I hope you've got your guesses. There's 3 words there. Let me play the song and see if you are correct. Okay, good luck, everybody.
Remembering your touch, your kiss, your warm embrace, I'll find my way back to you if you'll be waiting.
There you go. And whether you are right or wrong, what you want your students to do is 2 things. Be in the right ballpark, okay? You want them to understand the context. So you guys understood the context there, whether you put kiss or hug. It's a love song, okay? And then the grammar. You want them to put the adjective where the adjective should be. All of these are what your students should be predicting. And it's a really nice way to use authentic music and lyrics in the class. Not just listen and fill in, but actually use it as a prediction activity before they listen. One key thing I found when doing this in the classroom is, again, it turns passive students into active listeners because they've already guessed the missing words. Now they are actively listening to see if their guesses were correct. So it's a really nice way to use lyrics and authentic music in the class. Word of warning, of course, try to use those nice, soft, slow songs, your Westlife, your Adeles, and maybe stay away from any of that rap music, which will be very difficult to understand because of the speed. So, photographs. There's nothing more authentic, really, is there, than authentic photographs, things that have been taken. So this is an example, and this is something I did in my classroom many years ago now, okay? I had a lesson using this Macmillan book. This was before I actually started to work for Macmillan Education. I was teaching American Language Hub, adults, young adults, university level students, reluctant students, okay? Now the lesson was all about family trees, okay? The speaking aspect of this lesson was prepare, draw a family tree, and then share it with a partner, which was great. It was wonderful and it worked well. But I wanted to expand that. I wanted to make it bigger. And it got me wondering, what can I do to make that speaking activity more classroom collective, more everybody involved, a whole class experience? So what I did is this. I gave my students different pieces of information about my family, okay? So one student had something, another student had something else. All of them unique, all of them different pieces of information, okay? Now, I put my students in a circle and I said very strictly in my strongest teacher voice, the only way you can share this information is orally. You cannot pass the paper around. You cannot just check the next person's. You have to speak loudly, clearly to everybody in the circle and try to complete Mr. Blue's family tree. Now, what this did, and what I hoped it would do, was it cultivated an environment where students were more organic with their English. They're more conversational. For example, if there was a name they didn't know how to spell, a student would shout out, "Sorry, can you spell that name for me?" Or if a student spoke too quietly, other students would speak up and say, "Sorry, can you repeat? Sorry, can you speak louder?" Okay, all of that was really nice. And as a teacher, it gave me the opportunity to step back and just see how long it would take them collectively to complete my family tree. So I'm going to give you a shortened version of that right now. Now, of course, we cannot discuss together, so just feel free to read the pieces of paper. and write your answers in the chat. Okay, guys, I've given you 3 pieces of information there. I'll give you 30 seconds to try and complete my family tree. 3 pieces you've got and 3 missing members. So feel free to write in the chat who the 3 missing members are. Okay, so we've got that first piece of information. Tanya's mum is married to Ray. So where will Ray go, everyone? I'm sure you know. Married to, of course, Debbie. So there's Ray. Thank you, John. Now, the next one is Zyla's dad is currently giving an online webinar. Where do I look? Of course, under you, Rosnita. Thank you. That's my daughter, Zyla. And the last one, Callan, of course, my less handsome brother. Don't let him know that I said that because it's actually not very true. So there you go. So again, in that lesson, all that information was being exchanged. How long did it take the students? And what I loved about this, because it was a low-level class, a low-level adult class, what I enjoyed about it is I had a number of students volunteer the next week, the following weeks, to create their own templated family tree activity based on what I had done. And in the class, the week after, we shared the information and did the same thing with someone else's family. Okay, so yeah, it's all about getting your students involved and just getting their attention using authentic material. And there's nothing more authentic, is there, than your family. So a nice transition from photographs is obviously images. And Google, of course, is your best friend when it comes to Googling and finding images. The fact that I've just used that as a verb, okay, to Google. It's crazy, isn't it? How much we rely on such a thing. But instant comprehension and context can be understood because we can all see the images. Once that sort of concept has been understood, you can hopefully ignite a student's curiosity, okay? But be careful, everybody, because once again, are the images from the Google search, are they always culturally relevant or relatable to the students you're teaching? So I think about my experience here in Vietnam again, okay? So here's a good example of a course book, a primary course book, and as comes to no surprise, I guess, that the images are animated, okay? They're cartoon stylized, as you see in a number of primary books. Why? Because even though it's animated, it's clear to the students what these things are trying to depict. But how can we personalize? We can Google, but if I was to Google kitchen, I get a number of images that maybe are not personal to the students that I'm teaching in Vietnam. Because Bao will raise his hand and say, Mr. Blue, my kitchen doesn't look like this at home, and that's perfectly fine. So again, you can personalize it and find a kitchen that is more relatable to Bao's living experience, okay? And this is more relatable, and it's a great way to personalize images that make it more authentic. Away from that, another thing you can do is you can expand a student's curiosity, okay, using images. So here, guys, I've got 5 different homes, okay, 5 different homes from around the world. Now I task my students to tell me what country these homes come from. So again, I'll give you some time in the chat. Just write the number 1 and then the country, 4, the country, and then we'll go through the answers. What countries do you think these homes come from? What do we think, everybody? Very diverse, very different, but authentic. Okay. Now from Vietnam has said number 4 for Vietnam. Number 2, Germany. That's an interesting guess. Poland says Huynh for number 2. Sweden for number 2. So number 2 is bringing up a few different answers there. That's Interesting. Princess says Switzerland. Lebanon says Miss Twin. Okay, guys, let me reveal the answers. So hopefully now you've given your students ample opportunity to consider, think about, share amongst their classmates and discuss. Now you've ignited their curiosity. Now you reveal the answers. And again, it's not about being right or wrong. It's all about expanding that curiosity using authentic imagery. So number 1 was actually Kenya. Number 2 was the country I'm from, the UK, England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales. Okay. And that looks like a quaint British village right there. Number 3, I think most people got that correct. That was Japan. Number 4 is the beautiful country I currently live in, and that is Vietnam. And number 5, Mary, you are correct. Number 5 is, of course, the United States of America. There you go. A great way using imagery to expand your students' curiosity beyond maybe what they're given in the book itself. Have fun with images. A game I'm going to show you now is a game I used to love playing at the end of my classes when I was teaching. It can be tailored for different levels. It can be tailored for different ages. And most importantly, it's fun. And this game is called What's the Word? You might be familiar with this. What you will do is you will put your students into groups and teams, and you will hand them out a whiteboard. The whiteboard is where they're going to write their answer and raise their answer. Now, you're going to give your students 2 images, like that. Now, in my classroom, I wouldn't explain this game. I would just wait for them to figure it out. David's played this before. David's a professional What's the Word player. But nope. Oh, okay, there you go, David. Thank you. So yeah, David's quite correct. You're going to take those 2 words and you're going to combine them to make a word. So here you've got cough, E. Of course, what is the answer for cough and E? Coffee. Okay, so let me do 2 more with you. But as you are astute educators, they're a bit more challenging than coffee. So let's see if you can get them both. I'll give you some time. Here's the first one. What do we think? Mohammed says James Bond. I can see James Bond, but that's not the answer. Conrad says agency. Joji says agency. Mary says spicy. Now, if you put agency, you're quite right, because he is a secret agent. Agency. You're not wrong. But my answer is what Mary guessed. Spy. C. But you're not wrong if you put agency, okay? Spicy, agency, well done. And now for your most difficult one, good luck. Hollywood star, says Sarun. Not quite. Friendship, Guy says Band-Aid. Main point, says who? I haven't got the answer yet. I'll give you a clue. Collectively, what are they? They are what? Collective noun. They are group. What sex? What gender? Yeah, we've got it there. Yukatu. Yeah, well done, guys. Yeah, Yutaka. I hope I said that correctly. You are correct. The answer is men. You. There we go. Well done. Menu. So what's the word? There are a number of different things of these. And again, you can Google them. You will find a plethora, a whole list of ones you can incorporate into your classroom and tailor according to the level you are teaching. You can have real fun with it. It's a great group and team activity to play in your class. Video content. Let's move on. Now, when it comes to video content, most likely the course books that you use will be full of rich video content. But there is a difference, of course, because like I've repeated throughout this session, authentic or not quite authentic. And I say not quite authentic because, again, in any course book, Material is often presented as authentic, but really, again, it's graded according to the level it's trying to teach, okay? It's trying to educate, it's trying to support. So what can we do with authentic material? Again, you've got that sensory learning, because of course, now we can see, you've got that visual as well. Cultural understanding, of course, pronunciation practice. Again, you've got authentic material, which in terms of pronunciation and particularly enunciation will be very different to maybe the content in a book, okay? Because in everyday conversation, people don't enunciate as much as you might see in video content that is actually tailored and created for language learners. Big difference. Also, engagement and motivation, of course, like we've discussed already, the communication skills, and lastly, probably most importantly, it's authentic, it's real life language use. So let me ask you a quick question. I'd love to see some answers in the chat. Are there any benefits to watching a video clip without the audio? Okay. Yeah, Krill. Make students guess. Okay, we've got yeses. Okay, again, I know you've got only as fast as your fingers can go, but I'd be interested to see if anyone can elaborate and give me just a few points of why. Prediction, there we go. That's a good one. Gestures, definitely Mohammed. Okay. Students can use their imagination. I like that. Child, prediction, princess, creative. Remember, we're dealing with video clips now. So you're going to get those natural hand gestures. You're going to get visual. So there's a nice way to predict context and content. Okay. Now, again, I'm going to go back to my teaching days when I was in the classroom. An activity that I used to enjoy was, well, bear with me, actually. Let me just, there you go. Critical thinking, visual context. I saw something in the chat there. John, it helps students describe what is happening. Big time. Yes, sir. Body language and gestures. Someone mentioned that. Prediction. And of course, language production. You're getting your students speaking about the silent video. Now that brings me to my activity. Okay. And that activity is called silent listening. Okay. Now, what I would do is I would show my students a video with no sound. After the video, I would ask them a number of different questions, comprehension check questions, really. Where are they? Okay. What are they doing? Then you're going to get more to the meat of the bone. You can then ask them, because now they understand the situation, you can start to ask them, what do you think they say? What would the dialogue be between those characters? And again, they're just predicting based on their own contextual understanding of the situation they have just seen, which of course someone mentioned in the chat. When we come to play the video, their general understanding of the situation is heightened significantly because they've already guessed what could be said within the context of a situation that they understand. So I'm going to do that now, guys. I'm going to play a video for you, and I'm just going to ask you some questions throughout the video. Okay, so feel free to write your answers back to me, as you always do in the chat. Here we go. So my first question, students, is, where is he? Where is he, everybody? Mall, says David. Christina, mall, yeah, he's in the department store, the mall, the shopping centre, whatever it might be, the supermarket. Thank you, guys. Now, again, in my classroom, these questions would come after the video. Okay, I would just allow my students to watch the video. Now, you can see the shop assistant and the customer. Everybody, what do you think the shop assistant says to the customer? What do you think the shop assistant says to the customer? Princess, what do you need? Yeah, Mohammed, yeah, what can I do for you? Again, They're good guesses based on the context of the situation. Your students have been in a shop before, I hope. So they understand that when a shop assistant approaches you, they might ask to help you. We don't know what he said, but we understand the situation enough to have a guess. How can I help you? Okay. How does the customer feel? How does the customer feel? How does he feel? Irritated. Well done, princess. Not unsatisfied, annoyed, irritated. And then my next question to the students will be why? And then you're going to get that answer. He wants to buy a surprise gift to his wife, blah, blah, blah. Expansion, expansion, expansion. So after the video has played, like I mentioned, you're going to ask your students those comprehension questions. Okay. Context has been established. Everyone understands the situation at hand. And then you can focus on that specific language that would be the dialogue between the two main characters, the customer and the shop assistant. You can really scaffold this activity to the point that you could have students A, students B, and you could have, okay, student A, I want you to write what you think the customer would say. Student B, I want you to write what you think the shop assistant would say, and you can create dialogue, okay? Before, of course, you then actually turn the volume up and listen with sound. So that's what I'm going to do now for you students. I'm going to give you a specific question to answer, okay? Now the question is, where does the customer say he can put the box? Students, can you tell me what you think the key words in that question are? What are the key words in that question? Where does the customer say he can put the box? Key, where? David, where? Where? Any other? And the noun, of course, box. Where, box. Where, box. So that's all your students are thinking right now. They know there's going to be a lot of authentic content that they might miss. That's okay, because they are fixed on that one question. Where, box. Okay? So guys, good luck.
Look, could we be quite quick?
Certainly, sir. Ready in the flashiest of flashes. There.
That's great.
Not quite finished.
Look, actually, I don't need a bag. I'll just put it in my pocket.
No, this isn't a bag, sir.
Really?
Okay, students, where, box. Where, box. Thank you, Theme. Thank you, David. Me, Tram, thank you. Now, again, it's a really good activity where you're using a real movie clip. Okay, they're not slowing down for second language learners. Okay, everything is produced authentically, as organic as it comes. But that doesn't matter. Your students know their task to answer the questions. It's a really nice examination skill to practice as well, which will come in really handy when you come to any academic examination practice. Okay, the correct answer was in the pocket, because the whole sentence he says is actually very conjugated. Okay, it's very normal, natural delivery, but it's not easy to understand. He says, look, actually, I don't need a bag. I can just put it in my pocket. But as he says it, look, I don't need a bag. I can just put it in my pocket. So it's very easy for students to miss unless you give them those cues. Okay, they know what they're listening for. So again, silent listening, video content, YouTube is your best friend. Okay. Moving on to my final example today, guys. And that's how flexible you can be with authentic material. Someone did mention in the chat earlier advertising as an example of authentic material. So as you move maybe into the team books, here, for example, Macmillan Education Speak Your Mind, we have a lesson on advertising. And again, as a teacher, I'm thinking, what can I do to bring this to life? What can I do to make this relevant? So guess what's being advertised here, everybody? Here's an advert I found online, an advertisement. Have a guess. What do you think is being advertised? What do we think? A camera, a shaver. In fact, a razor, says Princess. A wig, says Joji. In fact, it is a hairdryer. Who knew? Okay, a hairdryer. So there you go. You can have fun again. But what I like to do is maybe get your students to act out an advertisement themselves, and the students who are watching have to guess what's being advertised. Or another fun thing you can do is create a slogan. For example, there's many popular slogans out there from big world-named brands. McDonald's, Nike, just do it. I'm loving it. Okay. But what about tasking your students to create a slogan for a pencil, for a jar of peaches? Okay. Get students creative, get them thinking, create slogans for random objects. And lastly, my session takeaways from today. And that is real world content. No surprise, guys, it's readily available to you. It's all around us, okay? But again, be careful about the way it's utilized in the classroom. There are many pluses that far supersede the negatives, but just be careful about the way they are implemented. It's fun, it's engaging, and it's relatively easy to implement, as hopefully I've illustrated today. And lastly, always, again, consider the value and the usefulness of the materials that you choose to use. So what time are we on? 44 minutes. I've done quite well there. That is the end of my session, but I would like two things from you. Number one, ask me some questions. If I know the answer, I'll answer it. If I don't know the answer, I will try my best to answer it. And secondly, there's a QR code there, guys. Feel free to capture it, to scan it, okay? And just leave me with some feedback about today's session, but also about future sessions that you might like and enjoy as well. We always do value the information we receive from you guys, and we do take it on board. So please take a scan of that cue card when you get a moment. And just a reminder to stick around after the Q&A, because my colleague in Shanghai, Super, will be giving you a walkthrough of our new second edition of Academy Stars. That's coming right up, so don't go anywhere. In the meantime, guys, again, feel free to ask some questions. I don't know what got asked in the Q&A. Krill just said how to search for a good video like you've just demonstrated. Of course, number one, YouTube is the best source, but I understand what you're saying. Again, you need to find something that's contextually friendly, but also it's easy to follow and understand. I just got lucky with that clip. It's from a film that you might be familiar with, Love Actually, but the scene itself was nicely balanced between the two characters, and it was something that we've all experienced in our everyday life. So my suggestion to you, Krill, would number one, YouTube, and then YouTube search movie clips. Have a search, have an evening of going through those short movie clips, and I'm sure out of the 10 that you view, there will certainly be 3 or 4 that you think will be useful for a topic or theme that you're teaching in the class. Super, did we have any other questions you'd like to throw my way?
For now, we just have questions about the recordings and slides. So welcome everybody. If you have any questions about authentic materials, please don't hesitate to drop some. And also for the recording, we will send you together with the certificate from an email from Macmillan Education Asia. So you will be finding the recording link and also the certificate together in that email. So please don't forget to check out your folder and also the spam folder as well in the next coming week. Yeah, it will arrive at some time. Yes. And we saw one question in the chat, right? So is it okay for learners to use his dialect to express his thoughts and ideas?
Yeah, Neri, my answer to that would be yes. I'm a firm believer of usage of L1 in the English classroom. It has many benefits. We could do a whole webinar session on the benefits of using L1 in a language classroom. I know in certain parts of the world, in certain classrooms, it might be frowned upon, but my experience of being a foreigner teaching in a different country with foreign students, in my case, Vietnam, there is certain value to L1. Of course, I can't give them their L1 because my Vietnamese is chuk chuk, very little. But I also see the Vietnamese teachers not take advantage of it when really they should, because it can enhance the students' learning. So to answer your question in the quickest, most efficient way, of course, if that is the first step of your scaffolding and that will build the confidence in your students, get them to discuss in L1, get them then discussing in L2, get them working with different people in the classroom, weaker, stronger, sharing their ideas. Okay. Do we have any more?
Yes. Let's have a look at the no
I can't
questions
see any.
for now. It's a lot of like thank you, a lot of like learned a lot and very happy to join the session, a lot of great information. Yeah, stuff like that. Thanks for
Well,
sharing.
you're welcome, everyone. Yeah. Again, feel free to type some questions. Super is going to talk you through Academy Stars second edition in just a moment, but I'm also going to stick around. So if you have any questions, feel free to send them in the chat or the Q&A, and maybe we can get to them at the end should we have time. But Super, if it's all well and good with you, I'll hand the reins over to you, okay?
Yes, thank you very much, Blue, for your great session. And yeah, a lot of wonderful information about how to use authentic materials in the classroom. And in the next like 20 or 30 minutes, I am going to walk you through a brand new course from Macmillan Education. And we are going to, I think Blue has also mentioned some examples from Academy second edition in his session, and also have based on these materials, he has given more examples about how to come up with different activities and how to make it more authentic. And as I mentioned earlier, for the masterclass lesson planning session in the next week, we're also going to plan a lesson together, right? So I am going to introduce you this course because next week we're going to plan a lesson based on this course as well. So hopefully give you a very quick heads up about the lesson planning we're going to have in the next week and warm you up a little bit before we start the lesson plan masterclass with Dale. Okay. So yeah, if you're interested in knowing more about the course, you can scan this QR code and leave us with your email address so that we can get contacted with you and support you with more information and give you more ideas about the course if possible, if necessary. Yeah, you can scan this QR code and leave us your email address and we will be contacting you very soon. So in the next session, I am going to give you a very brief introduction about this course called Academy Stars second edition. Academy Stars has been a very popular course in Asia in the last maybe 4 to 5 years. It has been quite well accepted by Asian students and Asian teachers because it is a very good course with a balance with the traditional teaching methodology and also the communicative and international and up-to-date authentic English language learning experience. So it is a very good gap bridging between the Asian students and Asian teachers with international coursebooks like Academy Stars. So I'm going to give you a quick update about the second edition because we have updated Academy Stars and we have added more grammar to support learners and teachers with the foundation of language learning. We have added more skills work, including speaking, listening, reading, and writing. We have replaced all the content to make sure the students will learn something up to date and be engaged with the latest content they will be able to like read and watch and listen to in their real life, make it more authentic, as Blue just mentioned. And also we have added more exam practice. We know in Asia, exam is always the very important part of our teaching and learning. So exam will be there, and also we have enhanced the exam practice, especially for the Cambridge Young Learners exam. And also the digital platform, the digital tools have been upgraded because after the COVID, after the pandemic, we have understood like the importance of digital, online, and blended learning. So more updated digital learning experience will be there. And lastly, we have added a strand called the global sustainable development and focus on education for sustainable development and the global citizenship. So that is the last update for Academy Stars second edition. So I'm going to go through these 5 areas quickly with you with examples from the coursebook. And if you have any question, if you're interested in any examples I'm going to give you, please don't hesitate to interact and ask questions in the chat. So more grammar. Grammar is one of the most popular parts of Academy Stars. And now in the second edition, we have kept the very popular graphic grammar section in Academy Stars. So as you can see, graphic grammar stands for color-coded grammar teaching. So you will see when we introduce grammar structures, when we introduce grammar rules, we do not tell students like, okay, this is the subject, this is the object, this is the negative, this is the positive. Instead, we have been using the color-coded blocks for students to see the grammar visually. So visualize the presentation of grammar is called graphic grammar. So the students will see, okay, at each part of the sentence, which color will appear in which place in a sentence, and how to change the order of the words to make a question, and also how different colors will move to see the grammar patterns and the grammar-like structures. So this is the graphic grammar feature in Academy Stars, and we have kept it in Academy Stars second edition and make it even more popular for lower level learners. Yeah, as said in the chat. So this is very good for lower level language learners because language can always be very abstract for them, right? So graphic grammar will make grammar more visualized and more tangible, easy to understand. So here is a video from the graphic grammar section. I will show you a very short clip to give you an idea how animated graphic grammar versions will be presented to your students to help their understanding.
To be, present simple or past simple. Yesterday, she was sad. Today, she is happy.
Yes, as you can see from this graphic grammar animation, we have animated the grammar structures into a context. So providing students with animations to understand the meaning of the grammar first, with the comparisons from the past with today, like yesterday and today, to show the difference of these two tenses, and also give students a context to understand the grammar, and also using the graphic grammar color-coded blocks there to show and present the grammar patterns and how it changes in the way, depending on the tense. So this way of teaching grammar has been really, really effective and has been proven to be really, really helpful for teachers who are teaching primary students who just get started with English language learning in like grade 1, grade 2, all the way up to grade 6. Yeah, this is something we have always been there for Academy Stars, and now we have kept it for the second edition. And for the new edition, we have added more grammar apart from the graphic grammar. We have added more grammar boosters in the student book, which means there will be more grammar practice for teachers to use and engage different students. So there will be grammar practice for students to consolidate the grammar learning. And also there will be some different types of grammar activities to give extra practice and extra consolidation about the grammar structure. If the students need more practice, these grammar boosters will be there to support. Okay, so this is the first update about the second edition of Academy Stars grammar, more grammar. And for the second update, which is based on the skills, the 4 skills. So we have updated all the content to make sure the content of reading, listening we have in the new edition are authentic, up to date, and also engaging for young learners who are living in this 21st century and also who are receiving a lot of information every day online and in the world they are living. So we will have all these new reading texts with the pictures all updated. We will have more reading tests from each level, and also together with more activities called Be a Star activities to give students opportunities to discuss and further comprehend what they have read or what they have listened in the class. So this is one example from level 1, and this is an example from level 3. As you can see, we have put together the text with a lot of engaging pictures, included different cultures, different topics, different genres. Yeah, make sure the students will get access to authentic materials as good as possible. Yeah, so in this way, more skills work will be introduced to students with authentic materials and content. And for exam practice, as I mentioned, the Cambridge Young Learners exam will be a very important focus in Academy Stars. So we have got this Cambridge exam practice after every 2 units. So the students will have these exam focus sections on the student book, and they will be able to get ready with the reading, writing, listening, and speaking, all the 4 skills from the Cambridge Young Learners exam. They will be able to familiarize with themselves about the task types, about the exam format, and about all the content they have learned in each unit as well. So in each unit, we have introduced the grammar, the vocabulary, the reading, listening, writing, and speaking, right? So we will be reorganize all these content into the format of the Cambridge Young Learners exam at the end of 2 units, so that the students will be able to test themselves, check their understanding and check their progress using the Cambridge Young Learner exam format. So if they are going to take that exam at the end of maybe each level, or after learning certain levels, they will be able to get used to the exam format very well and get on board very easily with the exam. And also on the student, on the workbook, on the activity book of Academy Stars, there will be more exams aligned with the exam. As you can see, there will be a small icon here. Yeah, all these small icons with CEYL all stands for Cambridge Young Learners exam. And we have all these task types included in the student book and also in the activity book for students to have enough practice about the course. Okay, so this is the exam practice, to engage students not only with the content, but also get them prepared for the exam. Yeah, because this is part of the authentic world as well, right? They will face the exam in their real life. And also for digital learning experience, we have been working on a very huge platform called Navio. So Navio is a very gamified platform for students to learn and practice and also have fun at the same time. As you can see from this screenshot from Navio student app, it doesn't look like a app we will use for normal learning, right? It looks like a game. It looks like a video game. We have made the whole app like a video game app to engage learners. We have made each unit of the learning into an island. So the students are going to explore different islands by creating their own avatar. They're going to have their own personalized avatar in this Navio student app. They will name the avatar. They will costume the avatar. They will win scores and badges, and they will be able to personalize their own avatars. And then they are going to explore the Navio world by taking a challenges in each island and overcome the different sets of practice of the language. After that, they will complete each section by winning the points and winning the games. So in this way, they are going to be more engaged and motivated to practice after class. So the students will be very well engaged in the learning even after the class. And when you get into the island, you will see there will be a lot of practices. For example, the grammar, the vocabulary will be there. So the students will be able to play a flashcard game like this. They will be able to listen to the recording, see the flashcard, and also check the meaning of the vocabulary. Yeah, in this way, they will be able to win the game and get points, and then move on to the next step and start another island. Yeah, so this way of learning, I think, is more aligned with the real, authentic world our students are actually living. We want to align the learning style with the students' lifestyle and make the learning more relatable and relevant to the students' life as well. And also, there will be a digital pupils book and digital student book as well. If the students are using tablets or using laptops, if they don't have the physical book at hand, they can also use the digital book. Yeah, so the workbook will be self-checked after doing the homework, and all the homework can be progress will be shared with the teacher. If the teacher wants to check the students' progress of doing the homework, there is a classroom progress checker for the teachers to use. So this will be more digitalized, both for the students and for the teachers to manage the classroom and manage the homework at the same time. Okay, so hopefully this digital platform will be a great tool for teachers to monitor the students' progress and also to engage the students after classroom as well. And also for the ESDC, as I mentioned, as the last update of the second edition, it is called the Education for Sustainable Development and Citizenship, and it is a very big program launched by Macmillan Education, and we are trying to integrate the language, integrate the sustainable development goals and also the global citizenship education into English language learning, because we believe English language learning, English classroom is the best place for the students to broaden their horizons, to get access to the real world, to look into different issues in the world and come up with ideas how to improve and how to be a better global citizen in the English classroom. So this is the icon, the small earth icon here to indicate the ESDC program in Academy Stars. You will see there will be questions for students to think about the world they are living in, the people, the environment around them, and also think about their own behaviors, the impact of their behaviors on the world and on the environment around them. And there will be teachers, there will be teachers like teaching notes. If you would like to introduce ESDC to your students, for example, if you're very interested in sustainable development goals by the UNICEF, you can use these ESDC teaching notes in the teacher's book, where you can find how these content will be related to the SDGs and how you can introduce the SDGs to your students and do some activities based on these sustainable development goals or some global citizenship education like activities. Yeah, so for teachers, there will be an option for you to introduce more SDG related topics or global citizenship education related topics in the classroom if necessary. Okay, so these are the 5 key areas of the new updates in the 2nd edition of Academy Stars. And I'm going to walk you through the unit really quickly to give you a overview about how a unit is organized in Academy Stars 2nd edition, and also in the last session of the webinar series, Dale is going to plan a lesson based on the unit of Academy Star 2nd edition. So with this unit walkthrough in mind, you will be able to plan the lesson more effectively with us in the last session. So let's have a look at the first page, the unit opener, and also the lesson 1 vocabulary. So very visually appealing unit opener at the beginning to engage your student and also set the context for the topic. And also there will be the vocabulary introduced using the flashcards, and there will be a song at the end to engage and practice the vocabulary learned from the unit opener and also the vocabulary lesson. So the students will be able to we will be able to present the vocabulary, practice the vocabulary, and produce the vocabulary in the very first lesson. And this is like a very great starting point of the unit for students to be engaged with the topic at the same time to get all the vocabulary ready for the upcoming unit learning. And for the lesson 2 for the lesson 2, it's the reading lesson. And there will be a lot of engaging reading content and texts in this lesson. Another set of vocabulary will be introduced alongside the reading to give students more scaffolding for the reading. And there will be pre-reading questions and tasks to develop prediction skills, and a lot of engaging fiction, non-fiction texts will be there to engage different interests of different students, and also to encourage a love for reading. And a lot of pictures and a lot of information will be there to support the students' reading. Yeah. So together, the students will be using media content to finish their reading lesson. And as you can see at the end of this reading lesson, there is a learning to learn a section, which is a very special part of Academy Stars as well. So there will be learning to learn boxes, and there will be learning about the language boxes. So we try to promote the students' learning skills or independent, automated autonomy of learning by practicing some learning skills and the study tips, to give students more autonomy in the learning. And then moving on to lesson 3 and 4. Lesson 3 will be the reading comprehension part. The students will do some reading comprehension tasks. And there will be a ESDC question to draw the students' attention to their own learning experience, to make sure they can relate the reading to their own life. And after that, there will be a phonics section called sounds and spelling to give students a review opportunity about the phonics language, about the pronunciation and the spelling part, to give them some words for them to practice certain phonics knowledge. And after that, the grammar lesson will be there. So grammar lesson, as I mentioned, the graphic grammar will be there together with an animation and also the color-coded grammar blocks with a table to summarize the grammar rules. There will be some activities and practice for students to do the grammar and contextualize the grammar learning with some controlled practice, and also slightly freer practice after that. And for after that, there will be lesson 5, language in use. So language in use is more about contextualize the language learning with some focuses on functional language. So I'm going to give you another session about functional language in next week, Tuesday. So this is actually a very good example. And there will be some videos to support the students to understand this functional language learning and actually link the language they have learned into a real life like situation. And I will show you the video very, very quickly after giving you a heads up about the listening and speaking. So listening and speaking lessons will be followed after the language in use lesson and give students more opportunities to practice listening and speaking with all the language learned in the previous 5 lessons. Okay, so let's give you some quick on like a clip about these 2 videos. So the graphic grammar video we have watched. So let's move on to the language in use videos here.
What did you do yesterday? I went to the zoo. Oh, lucky you. Were there any parrots? No, there weren't. Were there any meerkats? Yes, there were.
So this language in use video actually provides an example of a real life conversation for the students to watch and also to imitate. And they will be able to understand, okay, why is this conversation taking place and what these 2 students are trying to talk about and how they can use the language in a real life scenario. So this is another example of video resources we have in Academy Stars.
What did you do?
And
what did you do? Yes.
Sorry, let's move on to the next part. So lesson 7 will be the writing lesson. So writing lesson is a very good, because sometimes in early levels of primary course books, we don't really focus on writing, but in Academy Stars, there will be an emphasis on writing from the very beginning to give students a more solid foundation about all the 4 skills. So the writing lesson will be using a structured, progressive approach to writing. The students will be able to read a sample text first, then they analyze this text, and then they organize and draft their own writing. And at the end, they will be able to come up with their own writing. So this is a very scaffolded way of teaching writing to the students and give them a sense of progression. And at the end, there will be a lesson called Think About It. So in Think About It, we will develop students' critical thinking skills, decision-making skills, problem-solving skills, and collaboration skills with a very interesting task for them to do. And it is also very authentic, because we try to engage students with more real life tasks for them to do, using all the language and the skills they learned from the unit and consolidate them into this end of unit task. And also at the same time to practice their skills about thinking, decision making, and problem solving. And there will be a review lesson afterwards to give students more opportunities to check their learning about the unit. And lastly, there will be the grammar, the exam focus page for them to practice the Cambridge Young Learners exam. And there will be some sample speaking exam videos for students to understand how the Cambridge Young Learners speaking test is like, because it's quite special, right? There will be a peer pair work in the speaking test of the Cambridge Young Learners test, so they will be able to get to see the actual exam and also get ready for that speaking test. Let's have a look.
What's your name?
My name is Claudia.
And how old are you, Claudia?
I'm 8 years old.
Good. Now, look at these pictures, Claudia.
Yeah, so in this way, the students will be more able to understand the format of the speaking test and know what to expect, and also get preparation accordingly after watching this speaking video, exam practice video. Okay. So that is all about the unit walkthrough. Hopefully you have got an idea about how a unit of Academy Star 2nd edition is. structured, and we will plan a lesson together in Dell's session to give you more ideas about how you can teach a lesson using materials like this from a unit and get prepared with your primary English language classroom. And for both students and teachers, we have prepared both the print materials and the digital materials, as I have mentioned, because digital learning is quite a part of our classroom right now. So the students will have both access to both of the materials. And for teachers, again, we have the teacher's book in print, and we will also have all the digital materials for teachers to access on our website. The teachers can download and print more resources for lesson planning and lesson teaching, including the flashcards, extra worksheets, and also methodology handbook for teachers, professional development, and also together with a lot of assessment tools. So the teachers will have unit tests, middle year test, and an end of year test, and also a lot of formative assessment tools as well. Again, the classroom presentation kit will be there for teachers to present the lesson easily with all the videos, audios, animations, all the practice, all the activities embedded into the platform. And there will be also progress tracker for you to monitor your students' homework and set up classroom management for classroom progress checking, and also for feedback and for support as well. Okay. So this is all about the teachers and the students materials, resources available and used in the classroom or after the classroom. So again, thank you very much for your time. And this is all about Academy Stars 2nd edition, and there will be 7 levels of it. If you're interested in knowing more about the course, you can scan this QR code or use the link in the chat to give us your email address, and we will be contacting you very soon and give you more support about the course. Yes. So if you have any questions right now about the course, or if you have any questions about today's topic or the upcoming sessions, please let me know. Yes. And as I mentioned earlier, the certificate together with the recording of the session will be sent to you via the email. And please do not forget to check your email inbox in the coming week, and you will find the certificate together with the recording. Yes. And while you are thinking about the questions, let me quickly give you a heads up about the upcoming sessions. So wait a minute. This is not the session. So we will have 2 more sessions coming up in the next week, right? So sorry, my slides are not working. Wait a minute. Blue, could you please have a look at the questions, and I'm going to restart my slides.
Yeah, I mean, I can't actually see any questions. I did type a few answers to questions earlier whilst you were talking, Super.
Thank you very much.
But no immediate questions. There you go. Yeah.
So for next Tuesday, we're going to have another session about functional language teaching, which is going to hosted by Blue and delivered by me. And in this session, I'm going to introduce you a lot of strategies and activities about how to introduce functional language and how to use it for more communicative language teaching. And in the next Thursday, we will have Dell coming with the brand new class, the lesson plan masterclass, and using Academy Stars as an example to give you lesson planning like a session about how to teach vocabulary. So don't forget to get registered if you haven't, and we will be seeing you very soon in next week. And let's check the registration link is also shared in the chat. So thank you very much again about today, and we will see you very soon in next week.
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Thursdays. All the best.
Yes. Bye-bye.